pressure's dropping. Get the crash cart.
I don't think it's gonna make it.
Hey, Dr. X, get him to the OR.
Just don't worry, hang in there. We'll fix you right up.
Bleeding nurse begging here. And get that student who's responsible.
It's time for YC Reports with a special bulletin. Now, here's Gwen.
In our search for information, we find there's a truckload of it readily available at our fingertips. There's a newspaper that's delivered to our doorstep, or email or podcast that can ride around in our back pocket, and the global mesh of data that we know as the Internet. This mountain of information comes to us raw and unfiltered, and while we're evaluating all this information, it's also important to acknowledge when we use them as sources. Today we explore what happens when people plagiarize or borrow material without giving credit to the source. The Daily Standard ran an exclusive article with allegations that famous historian Stephen Ambrose had copied passages in his book, The Wild Blue, from the work of a lesser-known author, Thomas Childers. And in 2006, USA Today reported that books were pulled from the shelves of bookstores, and a $500,000 contract was canceled after first-time author Kavya Viswanathan admitted to borrowing material from another author's work. And the New York Times shocked the nation when they uncovered one of their own reporters, Jason Blair, was fabricating quotes in his headline-grabbing stories. I recently spoke with Mr. Teacher about some of the consequences of plagiarizing.
Plagiarism affects us all, even beyond the world of academia. It's important to understand that you plagiarize anytime you use someone else's ideas and don't give them proper credit. Why, you have showed us that historians have lost their reputations, authors their public, and reporters their livelihood. Here at Yavapai College, it's our job to make students aware of what plagiarism is and isn't, and to give them the tools to avoid it.
Now, Yavapai College defines plagiarism as submitting any academic work which is not entirely the work of the student, deliberately or accidentally. This can include, but is not limited to, such practices as not giving proper credit to a source, expanding someone else's work without proper credit, adopting another's work as one's own, including the copying of print or electronic media, directly using someone else's ideas without giving proper credit, and deliberately changing selective words to misrepresent someone else's work as one's own. Mr. Teacher, thank you for sharing this valuable information. This is Gwen reporting.
Hey, Ima, wasn't that your teacher, Mr. Teacher?
Yeah, I think so. Yes?
My name is Mr. P. This is my associate, Mr. Q.
What, am I supposed to mind my P's and Q's?
Are you Ima Tryon? And did you write the research paper, The History of Velcro?
Yeah, that's my paper. You have it?
Come with us if you want your paper to live.
What have we got here?
We have a victim 4 pages long, about 1,000 words, and it's in bad shape. Has citations hemorrhaging everywhere, red ring burns over 60% of its body. There's a broken compound quote.
How are the citations?
I can barely find them.
Who could have done such a thing?
That's not our issue. Our concern is keeping this paper alive. Scalpel!
No! Oh, okay, hon, calm down. Calm down. Your paper's going to be all right, but it's time that you got involved.
But I thought it was perfect.
It's all right, dear. It's not the plague. It's just plagiarism. And the good news is it's all treatable. All right, you're new to this, so we're going to teach you some techniques to fix the injuries on that paper. And that way, you'll have the techniques to avoid the plagiarism clinic. But beware that not knowing is not an acceptable excuse. Now go with these fine gentlemen. They're going to give you some pointers before we scrub up.
Let's have a little talk about your citations.
I did them. What's the problem?
Your citations are a wreck. Do you even have a clue about citations? Okay, let's start from the top. Good research is always documented, and researchers cite sources using a common citation style for their field of study. This is so they can share resources more easily, give credit to other people's works, and direct readers to the original source for further exploration. When you're asked to do research, you'll be expected to do the same. Just as punctuation helps an author to clearly communicate to their audience, citation styles help researchers share their resources in an accepted format. Two of the most common styles used at Yavapai College are MLA and APA. Your instructors may require another style, so be sure to check with them. Mr. Q, tell her about MLA.
MLA style was created and maintained by the Modern Language Association and has become the standard for humanities and English courses.
For example, if you research scholarly journals on how women are viewed by Shakespeare, you'll find articles that use the MLA style.
How are women viewed by Shakespeare?
Okay, Mr. Q, now to the APA.
The APA style, designed by the American Psychological Association, is most often used in courses such as psychology and sociology and some of your science classes. For example,
For instance, if you explore the symptoms of post-traumatic stress syndrome, you will find professional journal articles using the APA style. The styles are very similar, however, APA emphasizes the publication year of the sources.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't think I use the right style in my paper. Okay, I know what to do now. Give me my paper.
Okay, dear, you're not exactly quote ready. One way to include information and ideas from an outside source is to use quotes around the original material. Quotations can be a major source of support for your ideas. Using too many direct quotations, you can lose your own voice. Remember, you're writing the paper, Ima, not someone else. Use quotes that are particularly vivid, reinforce your main idea, contain controversial viewpoints, or that can't be paraphrased or summarized without changing the original meaning. This way. Here, hon, read this. This style guide will show you how to format any type of source.
Quotations are identified by using quotation marks at the beginning and end of the source material, followed by the in-text citation.
Sometimes a quote is too long and you want to omit certain words or phrases. You can omit some of the quote as long as you keep the original meaning. Use an ellipsis to show where you left words out.
Longer quotations require a special procedure known as block quoting. Block quotes do not require the usual quotation marks. Instead, you will indent the entire thing from the left margin.
Define longer quotations.
It depends on which citation style you're using. If the patient is MLA, any quote longer than 4 typed lines will use the MLA block quote procedure. But if it's APA, then use a block quote on anything longer than 40 words. Here, this book will show you how to do it.